Jay here at stoneflyworks.com. We're going to be going over the Big City Slims tonight. New pattern that I was throwing up. Tried and true pattern. Love it for bass, pike, muskie, and also brown trout. Really cool articulated fly. So kind of takes bits and pieces of a bunch of other flies, throws them all together. Kind of a down and dirty tie too, so I really like it. Pretty fast. Starting out with a B10S size 2. We're going to tie up a medium-sized fly tonight, one that I would use for bass or even brown trout. And what we're going to do is grab rooster saddle, and we're going to grab 2 feathers that are about the same size. And remember, we're matching size to hook, so this is only a 2, so it's a little bit smaller than what I'd use for a muskie or a pike one. So this is our trailer hook right here. We're going to go ahead and tie in the thread base. Vivus black, 200 denier. I'm sure most of you guys have this thread at home. We're going to tie these in opposite so we make a nice little tail. I'll show you what it looks like after I get it tied in. Just like that. A lot of times I'll try to wrap this in, but on this one I don't, because this has actually a lot more gray than black in it for this dye job. So we're going to go ahead and just tie off the black here. I'm going to flip it and show you what I'm talking about. We want that nice V shape. It gives us a really cool tail, or at least I think it's pretty cool. Fish don't seem to mind it either. So as I'm tying this, as I'm going, I'm just going to keep on talking and doing an instruction. If you have any questions about it, go ahead and get a hold of me. Love answering questions about these flies. So next up, we have our flex hackle. If you haven't used flex hackle before, it's Cascade Crest. Love this stuff. 3/4 inch right here in root beer. And it also comes in 1 1/4 inch, so just make sure when you're ordering it that you're ordering the right size. So this is 3/4 inch. We're starting out with a smaller, and we're going to work ourselves bigger. We're going to go ahead and tie that in directly behind, just like that. Wrap forward about midway up the hook. Shank, we're going to go ahead and put in some super glue. This really helps hold this stuff in place. Flex hackle's got a bunch of rubber in it, and I know if you guys are making those rubberized game changers and all the other stuff that's coming out with a bunch of rubber, you will love this flex hackle from Cascade Crest. So we're just going to palmer forward, wraps, 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 just like so. A couple of wraps over the top. Just to tie it in. That super glue is going to do a great job of holding it all together. Now I'm going to change color again. 3/4 inch flex, just like that, in black. I really like to switch colors with these. It gives it a nice, really nice look. So we're going to see it here at the end. Tie this in just as we did the first one. Sometimes the ends will fray a little bit, so just make sure to wrap them in nice and tight. And what you want to do is leave yourself some space up by the eye of the hook right there. So I actually stopped my thread short of the eye, and we're going to go ahead and do the same thing that we did before. Just go ahead and wrap. Add a little super glue to it, and then we're going to wrap it all forward. Now normally I'd have these all measured out and everything, but I was kind of in a rush tonight. Really wanted to put a video out with so many people asking about this fly. So you know how it is with Instagram and Facebook. You got to get right on top of it all. So tie that in right where we left the thread before. Cut off any excess. Got a little bit there. Tie it in nice and tight. And again, we left ourselves just a little bit of room behind that hook eye. Now we're going to tie in a little bit of deer body hair right here. This is an olive color. Love these lighter tips on it. And we're just gonna tie in a small amount. We don't need the super long fibers like you'll find at the top. I'm starting at the bottom of this pelt with this deer body here. And you know, I'm not really tying in all that much. It's definitely not a pencil width or anything like that. It's almost like a quarter pencil width. And we want to give our thread a little spin. And we're going to tie in 2 consecutive wraps right over the top. And I'm really at the tips here. So as you can see, I'm not leaving a bunch of extra there. So when I go ahead and pull tight and roll, all that comes with me. Boom. Just like that. And all I'm doing is adding a little bit of body here, guys. I mean, you're not really going nuts with it, just a little bit of body. Pull it nice and tight. Tie it all in, just like that. So you get a really cool kind of body profile going there. And next I'm gonna take my fly tool. If you haven't done this before, there's 2 different sizes here, small and medium, or small, medium, large, and extra large if you have the full set. But on this one, trout and the bass size. And what we're gonna do is take that trout size, do a couple of wraps over the top, and finish her off. Just like that. It's a half hitch tool. It's really cool. Big fan of these. Minnesota Fly Tool Company, if you see me on there as well. They are fantastic and sold out of them. So many people want them. So if you're looking for some, go to the shops. They've got them. There's a whole list of shops up there that are carrying them. All right, so let me go ahead and show you guys that, show you that profile. It's got a really awesome body to it. And that coloring is just great. We're going with kind of a natural theme tonight. Nothing too crazy, but more of a natural color is what I'm looking for. So I got olive, orange, black, brown, root beer, all those colors kind of going together. Match my shirt, you know, that's just how I am. Anyway, we're gonna move on here. B10S, 1-aught. Great hook, use it for almost everything bass. The B10S in general I use for muskie as well, but then we're going 3, 4, and 5-aught. But this 1-aught is just a perfect size for your bass. Man, do I love it. It's a fantastic hook, and it definitely holds sharp enough to cut you just by looking at it. Gotta love these things. I'm gonna use some wire as well. I got 40 pounds tonight. I'm not gonna need to go nuts here. Like I said, it's gonna be our medium sized one. So we're just looking more bass to pike to maybe some bigger brown trout, but nothing that's gonna be too crazy. So wrap our thread base in black. This is the Vivis 200D. Like I said, most people really have this nowadays, especially if you're tying up predator flies. So trim this off. So, and then we're going to tie in our wire. Wrap it back forward. Bend that wire backwards. Make that half loop. Tie it in nice and tight. Next up, a couple of black beads. Just craft store, easy, cheap, Michael style black beads. You don't have to go nuts on these. If you have your favorite one, use it. Just make sure they're small enough. If you're going too big, it'll look weird, it'll swim weird. You don't want any part of that. And I like the plastic, it gives it a little extra buoyancy. I'm gonna go ahead and slide in the wire into our back half there on that size 2. What we call the chaser hook. A lot of guys call it a stinger, but man, 1-aught with a chaser back. It's kind of my flavor. All right, here we go. Boom, just like so. Wrap that thread forward. Same thing, bend it back, tie it in. A lot of guys will go through the eye of the hook and come all the way around. You know, I've never had an issue with doing it this way, so I go with what works. so. Now we're all tied in. We're ready for that next step. We're gonna step up the color here and of the flex hackle. If you can see here, it's 1 1/4 inch root beer. And it's actually a little bit of a lighter color than what I usually get. And you know, sometimes you just can't get the same material and the consistency. So if you saw the root beer on that first section that I did, it's actually a little bit darker in color. And this one's a little bit orangier, which is fine. I'm using it up top. You know, this day and age, no complaints. I'm just happy to have material. Add a little bit of glue, and we're gonna wrap this forward just like we did before. This is really covering up our beads in our midsection here, and just make sure to kind of flake it out as you go. You wanna make sure to get all those wraps away from the glue. This rubber and the super glue, man, whew, does it ever hold, and it does it quick. Also, word to the wise, don't pinch in this middle section when the glue is still wet. You'll flatten out that whole section. So try to keep your hands away. But as you can see right there, we're just building up that body in between, just like that. Covering up those beads a little bit, building a little extra body. Super easy tie so far, right? Go ahead and grab deer body hair, olive. I'm gonna use a little bit of a longer piece, lengthwise, but still sparse. I'm just gonna work this body into the fly itself. You can comb these out, you can do whatever you want. Like I said, I kind of do it down and dirty. Just the tips, if you get that. 1 and 2, 1, 2, boom. Rotate it all the way around. There we go. Kind of help this through. Got stuck on that V10S right there. Just like that. All I'm doing is just adding a little bit of cover on top of there. Gonna tie that in nice and tight, like so. Now we're gonna switch color, going to black flex hackle, just like this. 1 1/4 inch, so I'm off to the bigger sizes now, because we're tapering forward, just like we would with bucktail and other things when we're tying a big streamer like this. Medium-sized streamer, can't really say big, but whenever we're tying streamers. Tied that in, lay down the glue. This stuff's got great shine, great movement. Flex hackle is just amazing. And 1, 2, 3, tie that in, tie it back. Try to get all that stuff back there. And again, just be careful, don't pinch too hard. Right there. Look at that, we're building up this great body, great profile. Turn this a little bit towards the camera there, bro. Love it, love this fly. There we go. Now we're gonna add a little orange again, just like we had before. So we got orange, olive, black, back to orange. And you know, this stuff's super light as well for casting, giving a nice quiet presentation. This flex hackle works really great. I mean, it's hard with an articulated fly to lay it down like a dry fly, but we all try. Be sneaky, get right in there. It's helpful to have it light all day, especially if you're an old guy like myself. Here we go. You're only as young as you think, right? We're gonna wrap that forward, right over the top of the super glue. Let that stuff work its magic. And we're gonna leave a little bit of room at the eye, just like we did in that back section. And the reason is you want enough room for that deer hair to spin, that body hair to spin on there. So we'll tie that in nice and tight. As you can see, we're right behind the eye of the hook. It's right where we want to be. And now I'm going to go after the long fibers of the body here. Check out these different sections here. This is one pelt, and that's another pelt. You can see there's a nice length a difference in length. So I'm gonna go after this one. It's just a little bit longer for the head itself because we're gonna be tying in a Buford style head, just a real subtle one. But I want more than enough material to do it. We're going pencil width on this, maybe even a little bit extra, just to make that head shape. And like I said before, you can comb it out if you really want to. Give it a spin. Lean up and in. 2 wraps, 1, 2. Let it rip. Just like that. You guys can see how that all spun. Again, Minnesota Fly Tool Company. It's a smaller size one. I'm actually going to use the bigger size of the smaller size, if that makes sense. And what's really cool with this is I can push right up against this B10S, flatten it out, get right to where that hook eye is. Push all those fibers back. And as you can see with a regular whip finish tool, you're weaving in and out and you're moving everything around. Not with this. It's awesome. So if you haven't gotten one yet, get yours. Get to a store, get her done. There it is. Pretty quick little tie. What are we at, 16 minutes while I explained. You can probably cut that way down to 10 if you're real organized. Maybe even less if you were cruising. But Big City Slim, olive, nice head, great body shape. This sucker hunts. You can add some weight to it if you really want to. I prefer not to. It's real light. Great swimming action. Any questions, reach out to me. These are available on our website along with a tutorial and this video. Cheers.